In June 2018, following a misfortune at the once swanky home of Uganda's former Chief Justice Benedicto Kiwanuka in Lubaga, an important item that had been lying unused for years was rescued. His prized Mercedes-Benz. A car that once stood beautiful and elegant, now a shell of its former self. At the request of Kampala Lord Mayor Elias Lukwago, John Sempebwa, the owner of Semagulu Royal Museum, picked up the rusty remains of the Mercedes and took it to his museum.
We've cleaned it. We've brought in experts who have told us it will cost about 120 million shillings. So among the things we want to do is to repair that car and maybe give it back to the family if they so wish.
Once it is made over, like this of the former governor Andrew Cohen, it will add to the volume of important history sitting quietly in this community museum. Semagulu, located in Mutundwe, Kampala, has on display a number of unique items that tell the culture and history of Buganda.
The purpose of this museum is not to show art and perfect art. No. We use the pictures and the sculptures to tell you a story.
Ideally, people should be contributing items to a museum like this one, but this is not the case. Aside from preserving historical items and chronicling solid history about Buganda and Uganda, Sempebwa's idea to start the museum had a commercial bias. In his view, to dedicate it as an entirely community entity would fetch no results.
It is a community museum in a way that it is starting to benefit the community. How? There's a new stage now, Boda guys. The shop is stocking more water, more drinks.
We have community museums, we also have private museums, but the line is very thin. Sometimes what you might think is a community museum or a private museum is actually, a collective effort. You have members of the community contributing items, contributing artifacts, contributing objects. And so for us, we treat them as, one basket. And we don't want to look at them as private, because if we say these are private, then we will not have probably the rationale to fundraise for them.
Among Semagulu's visitors are those interested in Uganda's rich history. Once in a while, high school and university students come to see and learn. The artworks, depicting past rulers and European explorers, are interesting to view compared to the Chigulu Culture Museum in Uganda district, eastern Uganda. Chigulu is the typical example of a struggling community museum. Started 5 years ago to promote the culture and history about Bukono County of Busoga, the museum has faced several difficulties. There is no money to rehabilitate the Bukono chief's home that houses it, no money to buy or rent items from the community, or even to preserve the few on exhibition. And only a handful of people in the community have heard about it.
We have bodies that we fall in, like at times the Uganda Tourism Board. But those come in when there is, let's say, an exhibition. Normally they just assist us to transport our items to the site where we are going to exhibit.
That is probably indicative of a government system that is not keen on preserving history. The trend is the same at the National Museum in Kampala, which in its struggle to survive, cannot do much to boost community museums.
Heritage, what we invest in heritage is not reaped tomorrow. It's after so many years that you're able to see the fruits. But I want them to struggle on with the hope that in the near future, I'm sure we can be able to support them.
Once in a year, the National Museum arranges a general exhibition for community museums as a way of promoting them. But again, what they bring on board to show their visitors is itself lacking in many ways.
Many of them are exhibited in funny ways, and because they don't have the structures, the actual showcases, we will be able to come together and agree on what do we put in place. If we cannot give them cash, we can buy, since we are government, and put showcases in. We shall identify how possible we can support this.
The Cross Culture Foundation of Uganda, that supports the Uganda Community Museums Association, has about 30 museums it works with. The NGO ensures that the main objective of these museums, which is to preserve heritage, is realized. However, with little or sometimes no funding, the NGO's efforts have been lackluster. But they do advise on quality assurance whenever they can.
But then, at the same time, we work with heritage clubs. We have a program that is supporting young people in secondary schools to appreciate their cultural heritage. And most of the community museums are linked to those clubs as a way of trying to market the museums, but also to popularize what young people are doing in terms of preserving our heritage.
Community museums can enhance the appreciation of culture and history more than they do now. They are a private initiative that needs funding and promotion, which should be supported by government through the Tourism Ministry. Frank Walisimbi, NTV.